This is the early edition, a curated weekday guide to major news and developments over the past 24 hours, curated by Simon Watt and read by an automated voice. Published April 14th, 2026 on Just Security, an essential resource for those shaping a just and secure world. Here's today's news. Iran war negotiations. During weekend negotiations in Islamabad, the United States proposed a 20-year suspension on all nuclear activity, to which Iran responded that it would suspend nuclear activity for up to 5 years, according to 2 senior Iranian officials and 1 U.S. official. President Trump rejected that offer, the U.S. official said. David E. Sanger and Tyler Page report for the New York Times. The Iranians were pissed off about that press conference, a source told Axios, referring to Vice President J.D. Vance's announcement on Sunday morning that the United States and Iran had not reached an agreement. The source added that the Iranians thought they were close to an initial agreement and were caught off guard by Vance's press conference. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Vance called him on his way back to Washington to say the main sticking point was removing all enriched material from Iran and ensuring no enrichment in the coming years. A member of Iran's negotiating team confirmed that the 2 U.S. demands on the nuclear issue were the reason no deal was reached. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araki told French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot yesterday that Washington's excessive and continually changing demands thwarted an agreement during negotiations over the weekend. But Araki also said there was progress on many issues discussed. Efrat Livni reports for the New York Times. White House officials said yesterday that another round of in-person negotiations was being discussed. An official at the Iranian embassy in Pakistan said, "The coming rounds of talks can come sometime later this week or earlier next week in Islamabad." Another Iranian source said that no firm date has been set, with the delegations keeping Friday through Sunday open. David E. Sanger and Tyler Page report for the New York Times. Ariba Shahid and Mubashir Bukhari report for Reuters. Iran war, Strait of Hormuz. The United States blockade of the Strait of Hormuz began yesterday. Trump said on Sunday that numerous countries would be helping with the blockade, but so far only Israel has publicly supported the idea. NATO allies have said they would not be drawn into the conflict by taking part in the blockade. Tyler Pager, Peter Evis, Jenny Gross, and Thomas Fuller report for the New York Times. Michelle Rose and John Irish report for Reuters. An Iran-linked tanker appeared to travel through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday after the U.S. blockade was imposed, according to tracking data from marine traffic. 2 tankers traveling to and from the United Arab Emirates also crossed the strait safely yesterday, and a Guyanese-flagged tanker, operated by a Chinese shipping company, crossed this morning, according to Kepler. Peter Evis reports for the New York Times. Francesca Regalado reports for the New York Times. Saudi Arabia is pressing the United States to drop its blockade and return to the negotiating table, fearing Iran could retaliate by disrupting the Bab al-Mandeb shipping route in the Red Sea, Arab officials said. Summer Saeed and Jared Malson report for the Wall Street Journal. Iran war, Lebanon operations. Israeli troops launched an attack yesterday to seize Bint Jbeil, a town in southern Lebanon, from Hezbollah fighters. An Israeli military official said that full operational control of Bint Jbeil would be achieved within days. The town has symbolic and strategic significance as a Hezbollah stronghold, provincial capital, and gateway to surrounding villages. Layla Bassam, Stephen Shear, and Jana Choucair report for Reuters. The International Committee of the Red Cross said yesterday that a strike on a Red Cross center in southern Lebanon's Tyre had killed 1 person. Israel's military said it carried out a strike on a Hezbollah terrorist in Tyre and was investigating reports that the strike had caused damage to a Red Cross center. Layla Bassam, Stephen Shear, and Jana Choucair report for Reuters. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will host a meeting today between Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors in Washington to launch direct negotiations between the countries. The talks are set to focus on the possibility of a ceasefire, longer-term disarmament of Hezbollah, and a peace deal between the countries, sources say. A senior Hezbollah official said yesterday that Hezbollah will not abide by any agreements that may result from the direct Lebanon-Israel talks this week. Barak Ravid reports for Axios. Abby Sewell reports for AP News. Iran war. Other developments. House Republicans postponed a scheduled hearing with senior Pentagon commanders about the war in Iran from April to late May. A spokeswoman for Representative Mike Rogers R. said the delay was to ensure Admiral Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Central Command, could attend. "We are 6 weeks into this conflict, and we still haven't gotten a public briefing from anyone in the administration about the war," Representative Adam Smith DWA said yesterday when asked about the delay. Megan Monero reports for the New York Times. Israel-Hamas war. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 4 Palestinians in Gaza yesterday, according to health officials. Medics said the strike hit a group of men outside a school in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza, killing 3. Separately, another strike killed 1 person and injured another at a cafe in Gaza City. The violence comes as leaders from Hamas and other Palestinian factions have been meeting since Saturday in Cairo with mediators from Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar to discuss implementing the second phase of the Gaza deal. Nidal El-Maghrabi and Mahmoud Issa report for Reuters. Other global developments. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has secured a majority government in Canada after new by-election wins and recent defections pushed his Liberal Party to 173 of 343 seats. Paul Vieira reports for The Wall Street Journal. U.S. Foreign Affairs. A man was arrested and accused of damaging a U.S. military plane at Shannon Airport in Ireland on Saturday, Irish and U.S. officials said. The incident briefly disrupted airport operations and comes amid ongoing scrutiny in Ireland over the airport's long-standing role as a transit hub for U.S. military activity. Ali Watkins reports for The New York Times. Vance said yesterday that he was sad but not surprised that Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán had lost the election on Sunday. "We didn't go because we expected Viktor Orbán to cruise to an election victory," Vance said during an interview. "We went because it was the right thing to do to stand behind a person who had stood by us for a very long time." Eli Stokols reports for Politico. "I find President Trump's words towards the Holy Father unacceptable," Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said yesterday in a statement. "The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church, and it is right and normal that he calls for peace and condemns every form of war." Meloni's statement followed Trump's attack on Pope Leo XIV on Sunday night. Max Rego reports for The Hill. U.S., Caribbean, and Pacific operations. The U.S. military said yesterday that it carried out a strike on a boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean, killing 2 people, claiming the targets were involved in narco-trafficking operations, The Hill reports. U.S. immigration developments. Local prosecutors in Minnesota yesterday announced that they are investigating whether federal immigration agents should face criminal charges, including kidnapping, burglary, and false imprisonment, over the wrongful detention of a U.S. citizen during a raid in January. Chongli Scott Thao was forcibly taken from his home in freezing conditions before being released. Ernesto Londono reports for The New York Times. Republican Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, said yesterday that he will cut $110 million in public safety funding for Houston unless Mayor John Whitmire vows to stop enforcing a new ordinance that limits how police cooperate with ICE during immigration-related stops. J. David Goodman reports for The New York Times. U.S. domestic developments. A federal judge yesterday dismissed Trump's lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal for reporting on a letter he purportedly wrote to commemorate Epstein's 50th birthday in 2003. The judge concluded that Trump came nowhere close to asserting that the newspaper's actions revealing the existence and contents of the note amounted to the actual malice needed for Trump to prevail in a defamation case. Kyle Cheney and Josh Gerstein report for Politico. Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat of California, announced yesterday that he is resigning from Congress after allegations that he sexually assaulted a former staff member and engaged in misconduct with other women. Swalwell's resignation followed an announcement from the House Ethics Committee that it would investigate the allegations. Michael Gold, Jill Cowan, and Emily Cochrane report for the New York Times. Representative Tony Gonzalez, Republican of Texas, announced late last night that he is resigning from Congress after allegations of sexual misconduct. The House Ethics Committee formally launched an investigation into Gonzalez last month. After initially denying the allegations, Gonzalez admitted to having an affair with his former staffer in March, calling it a lapse in judgment. Kate Santeliz reports for Axios. Our bipartisan subpoena was very clear. Pam Bondi is supposed to testify tomorrow, whether she's the AG or not. Representative Robert Garcia, Democrat of California, said yesterday. If she doesn't show up, she will face contempt. Garcia and other Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have argued that, since Bondi was subpoenaed by name, she must appear for the deposition on Tuesday regarding her handling of the Epstein files. Max Rigo reports for The Hill. Trump administration actions. Trump yesterday deleted an AI-generated image he posted on social media, depicting himself in a Christ-like healing pose, following widespread backlash from Christian commentators. When asked about the post, Trump said, "I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor and had to do with Red Cross." Phineas Swai reports for Politico. The Justice Department released a report today accusing the Biden administration of unfairly using a federal law meant to protect access to abortion clinics to go after anti-abortion protesters. The report is the first product from the DOJ's Weaponization Working Group. Paula Reed and Casey Gannon report for CNN. Trump administration litigation. The Trump administration yesterday reversed its earlier decision and will allow the pride flag to be displayed again at New York's Stonewall National Museum, according to a court filing. The flag will be reinstated within 7 days and will not be removed save for maintenance or other practical purposes. It remains unclear why the administration reversed its course on the flag. Victoria Albert reports for the Wall Street Journal. In case you missed it, yesterday on Just Security. Mined and blockaded, Iran's unlawful mining and the U.S. port blockade. By Mark Nevitt. Some questions for Congress about Trump's request for funding for the Board of Peace. By Michael Matler. Thank you for listening to Just Security's early edition today, April 14th, 2026. If you enjoy listening, Just Security's analytic articles are also available in audio form on the justsecurity.org website. To stay up to date on Just Security's analysis of law, policy, and current events, go to justsecurity.org, subscribe to Just Security on Substack, and follow us on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.